5 minutes, please. My name is Troy. I am Travis's dad, for those that don't know. And it is my pleasure to be Travis's best man this weekend. Thank you, Travis, for that. Woohoo! I know a lot of you have traveled a long way to be here this weekend to celebrate this special occasion for Travis and Laura Kay, and we want to thank y'all for doing so. Even though you're Yankees, we appreciate you being here. Listen, I've never given a best man speech before, so I had to do a little research. I wasn't sure how long the speech should be. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to say. So, from everything that I've read, from everything that I've learned, a best man speech should be no longer than it would take Travis to make love. So with that being said, thank you all for being here. No, I'm just kidding. I am supposed to, however, tell you that it's going to be difficult to see Travis get married, watch him move away to Butler, where we're not going to see him as often as we become accustomed to seeing him. The fact is, that's just not the truth. You see, Travis is a little bit difficult to live with, Laura Kay. He's a little bit stubborn. He's a little bit hard-headed. He's just difficult to live with. Probably the worst part is when he's in the shower, he thinks he's Bon Jovi. He swears up and down that he can sing. And if you've ever lived with him, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't mind, I'd like to tell you just a couple of stories about Travis that you may know, or maybe you didn't know. If you didn't know, maybe you've forgotten. I remember when Travis's mother was in labor with him. She was in labor for 18 hours. And I remember when she was in the delivery room, I knew that we were in trouble when the doctor stood up and he kicked his stool back and he said, "Troy, get up on top of Jody's stomach and push down with all of your weight. Travis is stuck." Travis would not go past her pelvis. So I did what the doctor said. I got up on her stomach and I was pushing down with all of my weight, trying to help push Travis out, I guess, for lack of better words. After some time, Travis finally was delivered, but Travis didn't cry. He didn't make any noise. He was blue. He was gray. He didn't make any sound. So they took Travis over to an area where doctors were working on him, giving him oxygen and massaging him, trying to get him to breathe, trying to get him to cry. Other doctors were working on Jody. She was in need of medical care. She was bleeding pretty badly. Well, several minutes went by. We videoed the delivery, so I think it was 5.5 or 6 minutes before Travis ever took a breath. And I remember thinking, when Travis finally did breathe, that it's probably the best sound I'd ever heard. A couple of days later, I remember us taking Travis home and changing Travis's diaper for the first time. You know, there should be some type of label on that thing for new fathers, but there's not a new label. There's no label there. And you're probably guessing right, he got me here, but that was okay. You see, Travis was trouble way back then, Laura Kay. But that's okay, God had a plan. 2 years later, when Travis was 5 or 6 years old, he was running in the house and he ran into the screen door and cut his forehead right here. You still got that scar? We took him to the hospital and got him sewn up, got him some stitches. The very next day, he went to preschool. He got in the mirror and he thought it would be interesting to pull those stitches apart. And so back to the emergency room we went. I remember several years later when it was time for Travis to finally drive, we got him a vehicle. I remember being parked at the intersection of Pierce Road. Travis was behind me. I remember Travis coming up behind me. I saw him in the rearview mirror, and his eyes were about that big around, and he had a death grip on the steering wheel. And I remember thinking to myself, he ought to be slowing down about right now. But he never did. And he hit me. And I think Travis probably went on to hit most every vehicle in Smith Station with that car.
And he hit my daughter's car with my golf cart. Boy, you guys laughing.
Dang, Madison, that sounds like you.
Later that year, Susie and I had to go to Mississippi for just 24 hours. During that 24 hours, Travis had a party at our house where he invited about 100 to 150 guests. They played slip and slide. That was one of the guests right there. They played slip and slide on my white Berber carpet. It's still wet. I remember talking to my neighbor the next day, Mark. Mark said, Troy, it looked like y'all had a nice time at that party last night. Next time, I'd like to go. I remember telling him that I would let Travis know.
And they climbed out the window and went down the hill.
The next year, we were playing football in Dothan, Alabama. Travis was receiving a kick return, and he caught the ball, and they tackled him. And when they got up, Travis didn't get up. They were circled around Travis. And after several minutes, his mother and I went down on the field to see what was going on. And Travis's knee was turned at a 45-degree angle.
Ooh.
I can't imagine how much pain he was in. Fortunately for us, there was a doctor in the stadium that night that came down on the field and reset Travis's knee on the field. I remember the doctor calling for the ambulance to come out there and load Travis up to take him off the field, and Travis's response was, no, sir, y'all not going to take me off the field tonight. Y'all going to have to pick me up and help me walk off this field tonight. And we did. We picked him up, and we helped him walk off the field. I can't imagine how bad that hurt. But we got him to the sideline, loaded him up on the stretcher, and took him to the emergency room. And I remember the doctors taking him back and working on him for some time and coming out to talk to us later. And I remember asking that doctor, how long before Travis could get back out on the football field? How long before he could play ball again? What a selfish and stupid question that was, looking back on it. The doctor looked at me and said, sir, I don't think you understand. He has torn or severed every ligament in that leg. He has severe nerve damage. He'll never play football again. And he'll be lucky if he ever walks again. So we brought Travis back home, took him to Houston Hospital, where he had several surgeries, 5 or 6 surgeries, I think. He had several of those nerve tests. If any of you have ever had those nerve tests done, they're very, very painful. I remember after his last surgery, Travis telling me, Dad, I'm done. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm done. I'm not going through this anymore. I've got what I've got, and I'm not doing this anymore. I said, okay. So we went home, and Travis healed, and he started to walk, and then he started to jog, and then he started to run. And Travis started exploring new methods of strengthening that bad knee of his. And at the time, CrossFit was relatively new. Travis discovered CrossFit. Started doing some CrossFit. Started training. Got passionate about CrossFit. So he started getting certified in different levels of CrossFit. He started training children and getting certified to train children. He started getting certified to train seniors. He started getting certified to train in Olympic level competition. He started competing in competitions from Florida to Georgia to the Carolinas. And I can't tell you how it made a dad feel watching your son compete at that level, watching him taking his body to levels that he's never been before after an injury that he just received a few years earlier. Laura Kay, I said all that to say this. This once imperfect person that sits next to you is probably the best man I've ever known. He called me a few weeks ago, and he said, Dad, I want to FaceTime you. He said, I got something I want to show you. And he had just gotten home, and evidently you had been there that day. He was so proud. And he was showing me as he was walking in the door that Laura Kay had been there. She had done some laundry. The dryer was running, and he walked me through the house. The kitchen was immaculate. The kitchen table was set properly. It was just absolutely beautiful. Christmas decorations everywhere. He was so proud of you. He said, Daddy, she's so awesome. So awesome. He says she's just absolutely perfect. I said, well, Travis, you've looked for her for a very long time. You know what he said? He said, I had to wait till she got old enough. I've heard it said that if the measure of a man is to raise his children to be better than he is, then I would say that I was a huge success.
Yes, you are.
Woohoo! Yes, you are.
I'd like to make a toast. If you look.
Get my
May God bless you. May you see your children's children. May you be poor in misfortune, rich in blessings. And may you know nothing but happiness from this day forward. I love you both.